Yes.
So let's go ahead and start.
You
Good
want to give
evening,
folks a
everyone,
minute or two?
and welcome to GOPIO Central Jersey webinar today. My name is Dr. Tushar Patel. I'm the president of GOPIO Central Jersey. This is our second webinar this month during the current public health crisis and pandemic due to COVID-19. Wish everyone is staying home and keeping social distancing when they go outside to pick up essential items. Keep washing your hands and covering your nose and mouth when you sneeze or cough. Hope everyone stay healthy. Our topic this evening is 2020 census, and we are very fortunate that Dr. Khyati Joshi is with us to discuss and answer why, what, and where of census, which happens once a decade in the United States. So let me give you a brief introduction of Dr. Joshi. She is a public intellectual whose social science research and community connections inform policymakers, educators, and everyday people about race, religion, and immigration in the 21st century America. She is the author of many books, research reports, journal articles, and book chapters. She has been involved in census education for the past 2 decades. She is a professor of education at Fairleigh Dickinson University and received 2014 Distinguished Faculty Award for Research and Scholarship. She has lectured around the world, including at the White House, to policymakers at the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and for university and popular audiences in Denmark, India, Lebanon, and across the US. Professor Joshi earned her doctorate in social justice education at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. She is a graduate of Emory University and pursued postgraduate studies at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Often contacted by journalists, Professor Joshi has appeared on television and radio such as C-SPAN, Voice of America, PRI's The World, and Danish Public Radio, and has been quoted in numerous publications in the US and across the world, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, Boston Globe, Times of India, and the Record. What a wonderful CV you have, Dr. Joshi. So without
Thank
further ado, help me welcome Dr. Khyati Joshi to GOPIO Central Jersey webinar on 2020 census. So let me start by asking a question, Dr. Joshi. What is the 2020 census and why do we conduct this count every 10 years?
Well, first, let me thank you for organizing and making sure this information, Dr. Patel, is getting out to everyone in the community. GOPIO Central Jersey does a lot of work in the community, and I'm really happy that I can be part of it in terms of census education for our community. So census is really important. Our Constitution mandates that a census is taken every 10 years. The first census was taken in 1790, and put very simply, it counts the number of people who are in the United States.
Okay, so who is required to respond? Only the US citizens or all legal immigrants and all other types of visa holders who are also non-citizens need to be counted in the US 2020 census?
The very simple answer is yes. Everyone is counted. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen. It doesn't matter if you have a student visa. The way the census does it is that whoever was here on April 1st counts. Now, if you have not completed your census yet, we need you to do it. And you go ahead and put on there whoever is in your home now. They don't have to be related to you. They can be related to you. They may be living with you temporarily. That's okay. They all count. It's very simple. It's a count of every person who is in the country.
In the country. Okay, very good to know. So can you tell our audience what is the importance of this data collection from 2020 census? What happens with the data?
So we rely on this data for so many things in our everyday life. Many times we're not even aware of it. Based on the numbers, that's how it's determined how much money states received. From 2010, we know that New Jersey received, let me check the exact figure here, New Jersey received $22.7 billion, okay, in terms of getting money for senior services, for education, getting for a variety of different social services. Having an accurate count helps us know how many folks are in an area. That is how money gets allotted for transportation, for roads and bridges, for fixing potholes, you know. So money funnels down to local municipalities from federal government based on our numbers in terms for schools. So this affects everyone's everyday life. Some people know it, some people don't. And right now, we need to make sure that everybody who's on this webinar is calling 10 people to make sure that they have filled out their census. That's really something that everyone can do and needs to do.
Okay. So does this data of 2020 census have any impact in our community, especially we as the minorities or other certain ethnic groups count?
Well, it makes a huge impact because first we need to know how many Indian Americans are in the United States. And the census is how we come to know that. You know, for political participation, for so many things, we want to know, for example, how many Indians are in the United States. And as of Census 2010, we have our population, when I say our, I mean the Indian American population in the United States, was 2,843,391 people. Now, we only know that if people fill out the census, right? So we want to know how many Indians live in New Jersey. We want to know how many Indians live in Michigan or in Georgia. This is how we do it. And numbers is power, right? Yeah. Numbers is power. So we, in 2000, we were at 1.6 million. In 2010, we went to 2.8 million. By Census 2020, I'm pretty sure we'll easily be about 3.3 million is my guess, based on the way the growth has been happening. So that's how we know.
Yeah, so I think that you're talking about the resources allocation. If we have our numbers higher, we get more resources in programs.
We get more resources in programs, and then we also know how many Indians are living in particular areas. And that helps us in terms of making sure our voice is heard, in terms of our elected officials. You know, our elected officials know that this community is here, and we also, the needs we have will be taken into consideration. So that's why it's so critical that everyone fill out the census.
So the lower number of census forms for the minority community could be they are afraid of that their data are not protected. So you can tell our viewers how the Census Bureau protects our data.
So the Census Bureau, anyone who works at the Census Bureau, when they are hired, they have to take an oath. And if they violate that oath, meaning if they share any of the census data with any other agency, with any other person, including the president, they can be fined up to $250,000 and put in prison for 5 years. So census employees take their jobs very seriously. And you are absolutely right, Dr. Patel, that there is fear. Sometimes people just think, oh, this is some other form, and they don't fill it out. You know, and that's why we're doing webinars like this, to get the word out to everybody. But it is safe, it's secure, the information doesn't get shared. Census employees take their jobs very seriously.
So what else can we do from the community standpoint, like organizations like GOPIO and other civic organizations in New Jersey and tri-state area, that our people fill out this Census 2020 form? What else can we do?
So what is really important, we use the phrase to go hyper-local, okay? And so it's wonderful we're doing this. Because of my relationship with Dr. Patel, we decided to do this, right? So that GOPIO folks could get this. Now, folks those of you who are on this webinar, you need to reach out to your people, the people who trust you, the people who you know, because Tushar Patel reaching out to 20 people he knows that I don't know is what's going to make the difference. Because then those people will say to you, instead of just saying, yes, 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 we will fill it out, they'll say, oh, I need help. Oh, I don't know how to do it. Oh, how do I do this? Can you help me? And that's a very important question. You can help someone fill it out. You cannot fill it out for them. Okay. That is the official line, but we need to, and people need to help so that the census is completed. But talking to people is what makes the big difference. And that's why GOPIO doing this is important. And then everybody who's on this webinar doing it with the organization or religious organizations that they're involved with is very, very critical.
Okay. So what are some of the tips can you give our audience to avoid fraud, scams, ensure they can safely participate in 2020 census?
So first of all, you should know that the census will never, ever ask for bank account information, credit card information, your social security number. That's not what they do. If you get a phone call that says that you need to find out the number who's calling, contact Dr. Patel or myself or somebody, and then hang up, or hang up and then contact us, because we're actually trying to keep track of such fraud. Now, what has happened because of COVID-19 is that the census officially was supposed to end July 31st. The census now has been extended to August 14th. And keep your eyes and ears on the news, because we will be knowing if in fact Congress is going to extend it to October, okay? Because we have to get a complete count. We have to get a complete count. And what that often involves is being at the mandirs and the masjids and the gurudwaras with an iPad and having people fill it out. You can do that. That helps you all. Whenever you're having an event, do it. Whenever you're having, I know you're very involved with various health camps, Dr. Patel.
Yes,
when you're doing those, we need to make sure an iPad is there with a volunteer and people could be completing the form. And that's going to make a difference. The last thing I'll say is that if COVID-19 had not happened, if you've not filled out your census by May 1st, people would have come knocking on your door. However, because of COVID-19, that program has been pushed off. So if you don't fill it out, you will be contacted, either in person or by telephone. But either way, you need to know nobody will ever ask, no census employee will ever ask for bank account, credit card, or social security number.
Very good tip. So one of the other fear for the immigrants as well as the minority communities, can my answers be shared with law enforcement officers, which then can be used against me? Is that possible? Can they do that?
No. There are very strict rules about not sharing of the data and the penalties for the people who do share. I have full faith. Listen, as a professor and a researcher, I could not do my job if it wasn't for census. That's where I rely on getting statistics to make arguments and educate our students. So I have full faith in the system the census has put in place for data encryption when you're filling it out, and that people won't share the information when they're not supposed to. ICE, Immigration and Customs and Enforcement, can't get the data. Local officials can't get the data. Code enforcement, if you're technically only supposed to have a certain number of people in the apartment or condominium you're living in, but you have double that number staying with you, census doesn't care. All the census cares is that the number of people in your home get counted.
So there is no reason for any kind of fear or reluctancy to fill out this data.
No. And let's be clear, I can understand why people have that fear. And that's where it's so important that the people who know you hear from you all, right?
Yes.
Somebody who doesn't know me, they're not necessarily going to trust what I say. But Dr. Patel, somebody who knows you, they'll trust you. And that's why it's really important that the local folks reach out.
So the last question I have is 2020 census only available online? Let's say someone doesn't have an access to computer. Can they fill out some other ways besides going online?
They can do it by telephone. They
Okay.
can do it by telephone in English, and the phone number is at the website at census.gov. Paper forms were going to be mailed out. Some have been mailed out. Some will get mailed out in the next round once we see the number, the forms that are coming in, the data from the website that's coming in. So that is possible, but website is the best way. It takes about 10 minutes. If you're kind of slow on the computer, it might take you 12 minutes, but it's really easy and super quick. And, and if you need help, somebody can help you. Just ask someone for help. And please
Absolutely.
offer yourselves up to help somebody.
Yeah. So, Dr. Joshi, can you share some data from New Jersey census from last time and tell our audience where we stand as far as Indian American goes in New Jersey?
Sure. So I'm going to share with you all some information here. Here is, if you all can see, Dr. Patel, is the slide showing up, Asian
Yes.
population? Okay.
Yes, yes.
So you can see here, we have the numbers of Indians in New Jersey divided out by county. And notice the source, the United States Census Bureau. If it wasn't for the census, we would not have this information, okay? Census happens every 10 years, and then in the midway point of the decade, the American Community Survey is done. That does a little update, and that's why you see that it shows 2017 here, okay? To get a larger picture, here's Asians in New Jersey, and we can see the dots, okay? One dot is about 100 people. So we can see Indians in New Jersey are about 385,000, and you can see where they're clustered, right? You can see where they're clustered. So this is the kind of information we get. Now, I know we have people joining from other places beyond New Jersey, and I want to show everybody something pretty cool. And that is, anybody can go to this website. Let me just find it here. Anybody can go to this website, okay? And I'm gonna do this for you 1 second. Let's go to, so you can go to Census Hard to Count Maps 2020.us. And what this allows everyone to do is to check their area to see how the census is being filled out. So I'm gonna go to New Jersey, but you can see, you can click on Georgia, you can click on Michigan, you can click on New York. Now I'll click there and we're gonna zoom in. All right, we're gonna zoom in here and you can start seeing, I'm gonna have to move this. You can start seeing our areas, okay? So let's, Dr. Patel, pick a town in New Jersey you wanna learn about.
Let's do Trenton.
Trenton, okay, so we can see Trenton right here. I'm gonna click there. I could also just go up here and enter Trenton, New Jersey, okay? And you see this. Now, look at what the colors mean. 10 to 15 to 30% is the orange brown. That's how many folks of that population of that area have completed the census. We want to be in the dark blues, okay? The dark blue is 85% or above, all right? You can see yellow, light orange, darker orange. These are very low percentages, okay? So you can, I don't mind putting in here my home. You can put in your home address. Look, take a look. And what you will learn is that my area of New Jersey, that track, is we are at 71.4% having completed the census. So that's really good. So we can use this to know our places. For example, in New Jersey, Middlesex County has a very large Indian population. We can go not only town by town, but neighborhood by neighborhood to see what the percentages are like. And if they're in the yellow and orange area, Tushar, we have a lot of work to do in those areas to get the word out. So this is a great map and a great tool for people to see what's going on. If I go here, we can see that overall, let me just do this. Let's zoom out of this. If I go to states, okay. And let's just put in New Jersey. That didn't work. I wanted to, let's see, let's just do this. Census. Yeah, great. We'll just go here. So if you just go, and then if you put in New Jersey, you click on your state, okay, we will be able to see, I believe New Jersey, we are at 53% overall as a state in terms of having completed the census. So anybody can click on their state and find this information out.
Okay, very good information. Do you want to open up the questions from the audience?
Yeah, we could do that. If people have questions.
To share anything else before we open up for the questions?
No, that's fine. I'm just trying to share this.
Yes.
Stop share there.
Okay, so we'll open up the webinar for the question.
Okay, there we go. So if people want to ask questions, just unmute yourself. I've just muted everybody to keep it a little quiet, but please unmute yourself and ask away.
Yes, go ahead, Yogesh bhai.
Oh, his sound is not on.
Yeah, this is Rasik Patel. So thank you very much, Khyati Ben and Dr. Tushar bhai. So actually, honestly, I did not know the real importance of, census. I've been doing that census for so long, but I have no idea that it has, the importance of getting a financial, everything. So very, very thorough knowledge about the importance of census. Thank you very much. So I don't have a question, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And please just make sure everybody else.
Sure. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do folks have questions about, if you have, let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, one of my nieces from India came to live with us. She was with us for 10 months. She counts. If we were filling out the census, we would count her. It doesn't matter if she's international student. It doesn't matter if she's here on student visa. If she has no other address, she's in the she has no other address in the United States, she counts at our house, right? So it's really, that's very important. And you must count your children and the babies. Babies often get left uncounted for. And, babies will grow up and go to school, and then they're using those resources. So very, very important. Another piece of information I can share that's literally hot off the presses. Because of COVID-19, you know, the federal government has passed the CARES Act. Well, the CARES Act, in the legislation, it says that counties that have a base population of 500,000 qualify to receive funding. Well, in New Jersey, my county, Passaic County, is at 504,000. So we are getting something like $57 million. In the neighboring county, Morris County, is at 494,000, and they will not be receiving those federal funds. So that's a real, you know, small difference there. And so just again, to show that everybody counts, and we have to count everyone.
Wonderful. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay.
Any last comments, Dr. Joshi, before we conclude?
No, folks can reach out to you or to me, email, Facebook, anything, if anyone needs help. Information is available about how to fill out the census in Hindi, in Gujarati. The census itself for us has to be done in English. It is not available to do in any of the Indian languages. But certainly information is available. There are videos, 2-minute videos for filling out the census in Gujarati that are available on YouTube.
Thank you so much. I would like to also thank my team, GOPIO Central Jersey, Kunal Mehta, Kunal Gupta, Neil Mehta, Vijay Garg, Amit Kucharia, and our international leaders, Dr. Rajiv Mehta, Dinesh Mittal, and Dr. Thomas Abraham for their support as well in GOPIO's activities for many decades now in many countries. So thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Joshi, for your time as well to provide this wonderful information to our audience, which is not usually discussed on a bigger platform. So thank you so much for doing this, and we will make sure this recording will go on Facebook as well and other social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.